Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's recap video, which is actually going to cover both weeks. Like we skipped a recap last week.
Yeah, we'll pick up from where we left off. So some of these videos are going to be a little old.
I'm going to have to refresh myself. I feel like that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We took the weekend off for Thanksgiving holiday, which felt weird. Felt weird, but it was nice. We wanted to take it off both for ourselves and for the people who help us out here at the house. We gave everybody like super long weekend. So it was really nice. So we're just going to jump right in because this is going to be a long recap video, and I will try to keep my answers maybe briefer than normal. You think that's possible? Possibly. Possibly possible. Okay, first video was still planting shrubs in November, and in that video I planted a holly, castle wall, some Russian sage, a juniper, correct, and hydrangea. Is that right? 4? I think 4, maybe a grass. I can't really remember. Anyway, Gardening Grandma said, I was smiling at 4:49 when you were explaining about plants which need acid soil, and Benjamin was so focused on every word you were saying. He was soaking in everything. I wonder what he was thinking. Maybe I want to be just like mommy when I grow up. So sweet. I don't know if he'll want to be just like mommy.
Maybe. He seems like he really likes making videos.
He does. Yeah, but he also likes to be helpful. We were out here the other day and he asked, like, what can I do? And I said, well, dude, you can just hang out for a little while. I just have to do this and this and this. She goes, but I need a job to do. Like, he wants something to do to help out. It's pretty cute. 21 Power Tools said, why not use DeWalt DCD 460B?
That is the stud and joist drill.
Oh, like that's specific. Yeah, the stud and joist drill we have, and I don't use it because it is a beast. And the cement mixer, I don't know what model that is, but it's way better.
It feels lighter and more powerful at the same time.
Yeah.
Kind of a win-win. And I think it's even cheaper.
Is it?
I think so.
The stud and joist drill is just like, it's borderline, I can't handle it. With the 9-inch auger.
It's a lot. It's a lot of weight.
It is. Oh my goodness. Laura, I think you may have mentioned this, but can't remember. Do you prefer the Felco gloves you're wearing here to the Atlas ones? Do they give you as much dexterity? No gloves give me very much dexterity. I've been trying to wear gloves more just because with all the dry weather. Oh, I forgot to put my ring on today. Anyway, because of all of the weather being so dry and cold and all of that, my fingers, like, they want to split on the ends and it hurts really bad, and I've been trying to avoid that. So I've been wearing gloves a lot more, and I am getting a little bit more used to it. The Atlas ones definitely are thinner, so you do have more dexterity, but the Felco ones I can do more. So I'm not as bothered by thorns. They are a little bit warmer, but they're still pretty thin. Like, they're the best ones that are a little bit more heavy duty that I've ever tried. I don't know what the brand, I know the brand name is Felco, but what's the,
well,
I want to say model number, but there is a number to them.
I think it is a model number. We can throw it on the screen.
Okay. Dark Horse said, did you and your mom go on your annual foraging trip this year? We did not, just because my mom had back surgery. She's like recovered, but she's being pretty careful with things. You know, we go on our antiquing trips and things like that, but that's a lot of like sitting in the car and walking. It's a lot of both. When we go up to the hills, it's a long time in the car and then a long time out of the car, and it's a lot of work. So we have the ability to order in greens and things like that down at the garden center. They do that for their garland and wreath making classes. So last year, that's where I got the large portion of what we used here at the house. I ordered in, and I also got a couple of boxes this year. I'm not doing near as much because we didn't do the pots on the east side. That took an enormous amount of greens. I'm so excited that those pots have boxwoods in them now. Oh. Anna said, can you please do a video, if you haven't already, about pH levels and how you amend soil? I'm a beginner in the gardening and I'm not sure how this works. So we did kind of.
Have we done something about pH?
We did a soil test video where we were comparing different, like, send in soil samples and see what the results are, which were kind of different.
We should do kind of more of like an educational video on pH. Probably have to brush up a little bit.
Well, the thing is that you get so honed in on what you're dealing with in your own garden that it's really like you have to remind yourself what other people are dealing with in their space, because it could be completely opposite of what we're dealing with here. some of you might have super acidic soil and you're trying to bring the pH up while we have the opposite problem. So yeah, it's something definitely we could address later on, but we'd need to sit down and kind of like line out everything. Joy said, I noticed the drip irrigation lines running in the beds. How do you water so many plants with such different watering requirements? So when we run drip to a plant, we can run how much drip we want. So like hydrangeas, they get two 2-gallon-per-hour emitters run to each plant because they are probably our most water hungry plants in our entire garden, as opposed to like Russian sage. In the Versailles garden, I don't have any drip running to them. There is a drip line near them, and so I just let them get whatever water runoff they might get from the other plants nearby, which are the boxwoods around there. So yeah, I mean, also we do run that brown 1/4-inch strip tubing around plants a lot, and we can also just use however many emitter holes we want. It might be like 10 for one plant, and it might be 3 for another plant, so you can kind of just...
One thing we do struggle with though is separating like shrubs or like evergreens and annuals. It's really tough because like the shrubs you want to be watering like every other day or every third day or something.
Or even
like
once a week for evergreens, yeah.
But the annuals need it every day. So there's really not like a great, you just kind of have to water them all at the same time.
Yeah. And it's a system that we're kind of improving on every year, I feel like. I feel like every year we get better at it, to where, there might be a time, like on the new property where we're doing a lot of trees, where we just separate, like this is our tree zone, and these are our perennials, and here's our annual zone. Can you imagine how much tubing though? How much additional tubing that would take? Because you'd still have to take tubing all the way around for everything, because you tend to, do things all...
You could do it though.
You could, but oh my goodness. Donna said, why wouldn't you put at least a little window in the back? Don't you have flowers and trees planted there? We have one tree back there, basically for the canopy in the end, because you'll see that over the back of the cut flower shed. We did a cut flower tour at the end of that shed tour at the end. We wanted a solid back because we are going to be doing filming projects in there too, and we have to think about that and what lighting means for filming. And light behind me typically is not good. Outside light anyway. Controlled light like this is fine because you don't have shadows. Like, when the sun goes behind a cloud, it gets really dark, and then when it comes out, it gets really bright. And it can tend to blow things out in the background to where like I can look really dark and behind me will look like you can hardly see what's going on back behind me because it's so bright. So if we have a solid backdrop, we can control a little bit more what's coming in. And that's why I mentioned that I wanted to probably put some sheer curtains, and so many people were like, don't put curtains in there to block the light. Well, we have to, because it's either that or we have camera equipment pop-up shades, which look horrible. If I have some kind of pretty kind of sheer fabric that I can have away from the windows most of the time, but then I'll have the ability to close them when we're filming if like the afternoon sun's coming in and we need a little bit of a buffer. Anyway, that's why we did a solid backdrop, because that's what will be behind me if and when we film in there. The next video is decorating with some of our latest antique finds, and that was a fun, just different flavor of video, because I usually don't do decorating videos unless it has to do with holidays, and usually it's outside decorating that I show you. But I thought you guys might like to see where some of the pieces that we buy on those trips end up. And you guys seem to enjoy it, which was really fun for me. It was just a fun, different thing to do. And I'd had some of those pieces, like the mirror that I used. I think I had that since last summer. And it's been sitting on the floor in the entryway of our formal entryway of the old side of the house. It's just been sitting on the floor up against the wall. It's such a heavy mirror.
How long was it there?
I said a year.
Oh.
It's been about a year, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I kind of had another spot in mind, and I'm super glad that I didn't hang it, because it takes a lot of hangers for that. Like, I had to find a stud. I could only find one stud on not where I needed it to be centered. So I have a screw in the stud, and then I have 2 Hercules hooks and other spots kind of just helping it stay level. Anyway, it's such a beast to hang, and I hate hanging pictures. I hate it. I just hate to do that. And so I put it off until the last minute, but I'm glad I did, because that mirror is perfection there. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Other than the fact that corner used to be Erin's kind of makeshift office, and we often discuss how we can make our house work better for the flow of our life. And we were just recently talking about how you might want a space maybe away from the kids.
Yeah, I think it's more, Benjamin didn't need me as much as Samantha does. Mm-hmm. When Samantha sees me, it's like, I will be in your arms.
Yeah.
And nothing else will suffice.
Isn't that sweet?
It's cute,
though?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to be wanted.
Yeah.
But it's not convenient when you need to get some work done.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she plays down there and rolls around, and she crawls everywhere now. So she'll just find you. So having an office in a room where you can shut the door and just like focus.
It's necessary.
Kind of necessary.
Yeah. It is. It's been weird to get used to, because even in the evenings after the kids go down, I'll be sitting in there working on something, and you'll be sitting at your desk working on something, and we can still kind of chat, and we're still in the same room. And now you're like away in an office getting your stuff done, and I'm down in the great room like, like this is weird. But I think you're going to be bringing your laptop. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we're working out the flow of our space inside. I love that new corner so much. Sharon, top comment, said it looks gorgeous and very curated. I absolutely love the curtains. The curtains are still thumbtacked to the walls, and I did show you that in the video, but I desperately wanted to show you the look I'm going for in the end, and it's taken me so long to get those panels, and my mom and I are getting it together to sew them, but I just don't know exactly when. Hopefully soon, and we'll get all of the hardware hung and all of that, so we don't have thumbtacked curtains to the wall anymore. That would be nice. Anyway, I absolutely love the curtains with the various black accents in that corner. The final result looks very collected and rich with detail. Please do more videos like this and maybe show how your mom uses the antiques that she has bought as well. You both have such fabulous decorating sensibilities. Thank you, Sharon. That's a really sweet comment. And I do think we will show you my mom's potting shed. She's recently had some work done on hers. We're, you know, right in the middle of having ours done. So I thought when they're both done, maybe we'll do like a shed tour and do them both in the same video. That'd be really fun, because they're completely different spaces. My mom's is like super charming, and it was made out of all like found materials or salvaged materials, and it's been like, well, I've showed it before, but it's housed terracotta pots, all of their gardening equipment and things like that. And now it's like more of a fancy space, and it actually has heat in there now where she can start seeds. And ours is very much so like it'll be set up for filming a little bit more. Anyway, it's just a different vibe, and it's fun to see different spaces set up. Next comment, I love all your indoor plants. What kind of begonia is that in the video? Please let us know. The tag just said Rex begonia. Sorry, I can't be more specific. I don't know all the begonia names. There are so many. Ellen Weaver said, where and how do you store all of your off-season decor? Oh boy, the loft in the barn. We have showed you that before. I have totes and totes of stuff, but when we have totes and totes of Christmas lights too, we do need to go through. I went through all of my Christmas tubs, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to decorate this year. I went through all of them, and I got rid of a lot of stuff. I gave a lot of stuff away, stuff that just didn't make sense, that didn't go with anything else that I had, and I organized everything into specific totes, which before, when I'd take things down, I'd kind of take it down by room, and I'd have like, I do have a lot of vintage kind of Santa stuff, and so I'd have some in one room and some in another room, and so I'd end up with vintage Santa stuff in a whole bunch of different totes. Nothing was ever together, and so I'd always wonder like, didn't I have this or that? And then I'd come across it later, but I was already done with that other display. It was such a pain. So everything is organized now, but everything is up in our loft, and we need to go through that this winter maybe and like do a purge, big purge, and give away. I have a lot of things.
I like giving stuff away.
I do too. I
like giving stuff away, but I like purging.
Yeah. Sarah said, hey, where did you get your beautiful curtains slash fabric? That came from Hobby Lobby, actually. It was a total pain. It was a total pain to get that, because I couldn't order it online because you cannot request a specific yard cut, and I need mine to be 3-yard panels. And so I called them just asking like, hey, I need, 6 panels. I need them to be 3 yards a piece. So I want to make sure, because on the website it says it comes in 11-yard bolts. I didn't want to end up with a bunch of like random sections that I couldn't use, because it's expensive. I think it was like $26 a yard or something like that. And so anyway, they said they couldn't do that. And so I had to order it individually in 3-yard sections, like tons of different orders. Thankfully, I was able to, like, every time they'd have a fabric sale, I'd be like, sweet, $16 a yard. So I would nab a 3-yard section. Anyway, it took me a long time to piece it all together. Danielle said, is the color on your walls in this room Benjamin Moore Gentleman's Gray? No, it is Sherwin-Williams Thunder Gray. It's the green, like a dark green gray. It's really pretty. The one in our TV room, we get asked that a lot as well, is Sherwin-Williams Black Fox, and I like that one as well. It's like a dark brown. It's beautiful. Lindy said, love your channel. Can you give us a ballpark figure on what you paid for that great mirror? I've been looking for one similar above my mantle, but quality versus pricing is all over the place. I have no idea. That was a year ago. It's heavy, it's great quality. I have actually one that I spent probably more money on, I'm guessing. That is
so ballpark, would you say like $50 or $500?
Closer to $500, but not $500. I think I would have a heart attack spending $500 on a mirror. Unless it was awesome. And unless I thought about it for a really long time, because I did pay close to that for one mirror that I have in our house, but I thought about it for like 2 years. And it was in this antique store for over 2 years. And finally I went and I was like, you've had this forever. Will you take X amount of dollars less? And they did.
Oh, nice.
Because I knew. I'm like, that has been in this spot for a long time. I know it has been.
Wheeling and dealing.
That's right. Lee said, can you link the Greenery from Gardener Supply? It's beautiful. It is beautiful. It's like, it looks like cypress, and it's the most realistic artificial greens that I've ever had. I don't think Gardener Supply is carrying it anymore.
Oh, really?
Which I'm like, why? Why would you not carry it? I wonder if I could find out where I don't think it was an exclusive to Gardener Supply. I wonder where they get their sources for that, because I would like to have garlands out of that. Stuff that I could keep from year to year. Oh, it's so pretty. Next video was DIY pinecone swag. So in that video, I just showed you how I put together a couple of pinecone swags. Super simple. I made them actually with the intent of putting one on a mirror inside of our house, because I like that look. Kind of like I did in the decorating video with the mirror, the wreath in the middle of the mirror. But I was gonna do the same thing with the swag. It ended up on our sun porch doors because it was a little bit too thin once I hung it on the mirror. I think a wreath would have been better for that. So I ended up making 2, putting them on both the doors, and they turned out really cute, I think. Michelle said, my dad was diagnosed with brain cancer this June and is currently dying. Oh my word. The way you love your parents is the way I love mine. This has been incredibly heartbreaking to say the least. I started a garden inspired by you, of course, over a year ago. My landscape is lush and beautiful. My dad spent many hours in my yard talking about life and his love for his family. He was always impressed by all the things I built and grew. Your videos have peeled me off the floor many times and motivated me to continue working in my yard. Thank you for being a light during my darkest days. Michelle. Michelle, oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say to that, except for I'm super, super sorry you're going through that. Yeah. Having close family members and having something like that go on, I can't even put myself in that position. I don't even know. Well, I am really happy that our videos have served as an encouragement to you in your life, Michelle. Mary Carmen said, it's really beautiful. What did you do to get rid of insects in the pine cones? You know, I've never done a single dang thing to pine cones that I bring inside. I see that question all the time with people worried about bugs and, you know, cooking them at a low temperature or soaking them in some kind of something to get rid of bugs. I've never had a bug issue come off of pine cones ever. And we gather them from our own gardens. We gather them up in the mountains, and I just use them. Dan Deb said, will you show how you take these apart at the end of the year, please? I'm not planning on taking them apart. I'm just going to take them off their hook. I'll lay them on a piece of cardboard, and I might use something to secure them down. Like I could even sew like a piece of yarn through the cardboard just to hold them to the cardboard, and then I'll put them in a tote and bring them out again next year. Roy said, off-topic question. I followed your channel from the beginning and love it. Have you ever considered organizing your videos into created playlists by topic groups or possibly by the year? That's an Aaron question.
Well, they are organized by season, actually. As if it's like this is a TV show that every year is a new season. We used to have things organized by project or by category. Really, nobody clicked on them. So we would do like succulent projects or, you know, plant spotlights or, you know, whatever. And it just wasn't really that popular. It seemed like most of the time, the reason that people wanted to go to a playlist is to see like what happened in a certain year or something like that. So right now we just pretty much, although I do think there's one category of like all the things that we've done on the new property. I guess I don't know if that's public or not. It might be just a private playlist.
Why would
I think it's public.
Why would it be a private playlist?
Well, because when I was putting it together, it was private until I made it public. So I'm not sure. We actually, I think we're going to sit down and kind of go through everything we've done on the new property, like an all-in-one video. I think that'd be really interesting to kind of walk through all those steps. Nikki said, am I going crazy? Is the tabletop a different color than normal? Have you put a tablecloth down? So you can see this is the tabletop that we had down for the pinecone swag. It's actually like a table cover kind of. Hold on, let me show you the other one.
It's easier to show than to explain in words, I think. But see this right here? This is our normal tabletop. It's like a little sleeve almost that goes down over our work table. You can see it has sides that just kind of go down, so it makes it look like we're working on a different table when in fact we are not. So Ken, our editor, our video editor, actually likes to do woodworking too. So he built us these two different tabletops so we could swap them out, because like the pine cone swag would have looked horrible on this color, but it really showed up on this lighter color. So we kind of try to think about what project we're doing and what color it would look best on for your guys' viewing, because it can be kind of painful when you're looking at something that all looks like a blob of color. Like you want things to contrast. So anyway. And Garden Girl 50 said infrastructure, really?
You know, I grabbed that because it sounded like, I don't know if she was being snarky or what, but it didn't make any sense to me.
Well, I remember talking about how I stacked the pine cones because I didn't want to see the infrastructure of the project.
Yeah, but I just imagine like somebody behind a keyboard being like, infrastructure? Really? Like, I don't even know what that means.
That is a pessimistic way of looking at things.
I suppose. I should probably think, she was probably saying, thinking positively, she was probably like, infrastructure? Really?
Yeah, see? You see, if you just put a different spin on your tone.
Yeah.
You always tell me, he always tells me, assume the best. Always assume the best.
Well,
I think that is a good thing to live by.
I stole that from a YouTube video I saw one time about how to be likable. And it was like, always assume that someone is speaking positively. Even if you know that they're trying to drag you. If you're in a group, just assume that they're being positive just in case, and it'll come off better. It'll make them look bad. Like,
yeah, you'll never look good trying to.
If they're trying to make fun of you and you just kind of like assume, almost like you're being naive, then their dig at you will fall flat, and it'll make them look bad.
So
and
there you go.
It'll just make you look like you're just a happy-go-lucky person.
There's some life advice from Erin.
Yeah.
Next video was tour of the garden center decked out for Christmas. So they had just finished. It was the night before their holiday open house. They had just got in all their poinsettias and Christmas cactus and all of that. So I thought it'd be a great time to go down. We went after hours, kind of like as they were closing. You could see my sister rolling in spreaders off of the sidewalk as we started the video, but we thought you guys might like to see it kind of all done, because we'd done the gingerbread houses and the windows, and I helped them decorate that one little area. Like, my contribution was this big compared to everything they did. But it was fun just to walk you guys around. There's only 3 comments.
Yeah, well, it was really hard to grab questions because like everybody wanted to know, how do I buy things?
Oh, sure.
Or like, who's the manufacturer for this thing? Or like, you know, at this point in the video,
they weren't like global questions.
Like, how do I buy this one item?
Right.
And it's like the answer to all that's the same. It's like, it's probably not on their website. You probably just have to call them, like old school. Like,
they have some things on their website.
Yeah, phone up someone.
AndrewSeed.com.
Like, give your credit card over the phone, like old school, like buying some out of the Sears catalog.
It's good to be like that every once in a while. I mean, they still don't have anything on a POS, nothing.
No,
It's all paper and pen still. I would change that personally. I feel like there's no way to track any. There's no good way, but I feel like their way of life has kind of bled into me a little bit in that, no worries.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. It's just, yeah, they just don't worry about stuff.
Yeah.
And I would probably, if I was doing it, I would probably upgrade that thing. But I might be sorry. I don't know. Just living in that kind of like, no worries, man. Like, we're just here every day, just working. I don't know. There's nothing to worry about. Life's good. I think that's kind of a refreshing thing. Anyway, Too Many Tomatoes said, what a gorgeous store your family has created. It must take a lot of work to source and order such a delightful variety of ornaments and decor. I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. Looking through all of the unique pieces is such a joy, and it also must be an absolute delight to create. Thank you to your parents, Monica and Laura and Erin, for bringing this to us. It has made my day just that much brighter. That's awesome. It is, you know, it has been a kind of a curating type of process to figure out where to get things and what things are good quality and what things you want to carry. And you also have to carry things for so many different tastes too. And I think I would find that probably a little bit hard. I liked when I worked down there being able to display all kinds of different styles and that sort of thing, because it kind of gave me a chance to try it out, to decide, like, do I like this? Would I like this in my home? Sometimes I would be like, nope, geeky beaks, not for me. But I don't know, it just kind of helped challenge me too. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that Yeah. Catherine said, who decides what items a shop will carry? What's that process like? It's a kind of a collaborative affair between both of my parents. So my dad did the bulk of the ordering for a lot of years. You know, my mom, she was down there helping start the nursery, but she was also home with us kids too when we were out of school for the day. And it was, I don't know, it's just been a collaborative effort throughout the years. And my mom's taken over more of the ordering of some things, and my dad is doing more on the seed side now. But I don't know, they both have an interest in a lot of different things, and they go to buying shows in the fall, which helps a lot too, because you can see all kinds of different things all at one time, and they do a bulk of their ordering when they're at those shows. Margaret said, how come I can't get caladiums in the East for Christmas? I don't know.
You're just limited by if there's a grower that happens to grow caladiums
and I think
in the winter.
The caladiums for winter purposes, like growing them on for like a poinsettia replacement almost, is fairly new. The idea is fairly new. And so I feel like it will spread, but it might take a while. Okay, next video is butterfly garden, cleanup, bulb planting, and Christmas lights. So in that video, I cleaned all of the crummy looking annuals out of that butterfly garden, and it was so satisfying to do that because it's a very confined space and it's just super tangible to see the results. And then Benjamin and I planted some bulbs that Linda from Texas sent us, and then we went and foraged for some branches in our neighbor's brush pile, put lights on them, anchored them in the garden, and it's like the sweetest little display. Janice said, I'm not the only one who'd love to see the photographs of Laura and Aaron's wedding and the 50 trees that got wrapped in lights. That sounds amazing. Aaron included a few pictures here for me, which we will pop on the screen. It shows some of the trees in the background. A lot of them, though, were in the tent. We actually got married in like this big tent outside of this reception area because it wouldn't, the way we had our wedding set up, it wouldn't have worked. We had a pretty large wedding. I don't remember how many people came.
It was only a few hundred, but we live in such a small town. There weren't a lot of venues.
Between 300 or 400 people,
yeah,
something like that, which felt like a huge amount to find a venue where you can do. I mean, there's more now. I think there's a lot more available now to do larger affairs. But anyway, a lot of the branches were in the tent. They were like archways along the aisle that we walked down, but it was light outside. So when we actually got married, I don't really know what we were thinking. It was an evening wedding in the fall, so maybe we were thinking it would be dark enough. Still pretty. Anyway, Going Green Mom said, do you ever worry about hurting beneficial insects that might be overwintering since it was designed to attract butterflies and such? It was really just designed to be a temporary garden space. We call it the butterfly garden because I did plant a bunch of annuals that do attract butterflies, but I didn't have any real host plants. I didn't really design it with the intent on keeping a butterfly garden there every single year because I knew that that space was going to change, and it will probably change next year when we get ready to do all the stuff around the Hartley. Yeah, I will use the fence sections and do something with that sort of concept somewhere else where I'll plant like milkweed and parsley, like all those things that you want to put in to actually keep the butterflies going. So, yeah. And I'm really never too worried about cleaning stuff out in the garden. We provide so much for the beneficial insects and wildlife and things that I just don't really worry about it too much. Crazy Noodles said, are you worried about your kitties eating the caladiums? Nope. Jackson said, when you say floral wrap the tree, is that what you call this way of putting the lights on? Yes. So you start at the bottom. I explained in the video what floral wrapping is, to my knowledge anyway. Maybe I don't know. But you start at the bottom, wrap the trunk really tightly, and then you wrap a branch up, come back down it, and then you go up the trunk a little more, do another branch, and come back down so that none of the lights are actually hanging. There's no loose string. It's all wrapped tightly around branches to where you've got this absolutely gorgeous thing. In the end, it's an intensive amount of work, but let me tell you what, being able to put your branch on the ground and just fling it all over the place and not care if anything broke because these were already dead branches off of a dead tree that our neighbor took down, that was nice. Because usually if you're doing floral wrapping a tree in your garden, you're like, ooh, I don't want to break any branches. It's a little bit more of a tender process. Bridget said, can you give me the Auger Drill name, brand, and bit sizes that you use, please? I'm looking for them, but only seeing small bits online. We did an auger video.
We'll link it.
We'll link it down below. Debbie said, where can I find that favorite shovel of yours?
What's the name of it?
We'll link it down below. It's a radius shovel. It's got the round, it's
Sure.
like bright green and silver, and it's got the round, and it's half size. So it's just comes to about here. It's got the round handle, and it's got like a floral kind of end. It's not a huge shovel, and I really like that. Hartley Christmas tree, new caladiums, and installing bird feeders was the next video. So in that video, we put the tree up in the Hartley, and I explained why we are not decorating it this year. But you guys, I thought I was gonna have like this uproar. Like, we were so excited to see you decorate the Hartley for Christmas, but all of you guys were like so encouraging because, you know, we didn't get the Hartley done this year. It's going to spill over to next year, and the floor in there is still powder dirt. And I just figured, you know, there's no climate control in here. There is a lot of condensation that forms. There's no fans or anything like that to help keep, like, I figured if I have ribbon on that tree, it's just going to be a limp mess all the time because there's nothing in there to help control humidity, and then everything will get filthy in there if I've got stuff in there. So it's just something to like enjoy the lights of the Christmas tree, which looks so dim, don't you think? Compared to all of our bright lights outside, that tree is kind of sad. It looked really pretty in the picture I took of it. I didn't even like doctor that picture. It just was like the perfect time of night or something, and it looked so like bright and beautiful. But from the house, when you compare it to everything else around it, it's like, meh. It's just,
there's like a difference between indoor lights and outdoor lights.
Yeah.
And you don't want lights to be too bright if they're inside.
Right.
Because then it's kind of
But the outside
shocking.
lights are like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, is there a tree in the Hartley? I don't know. Anyway, and then we also got a bunch of caladiums that I wanted to show you, and we installed the most gorgeous copper shingled bird feeder from Gardener Supply that they sent out last year, and I finally got it installed this year. And I'm it's kind of like the mirror thing. Glad I didn't install it. I was thinking of putting it somewhere in the south garden, but I can actually see it from the house. I can see it like when we're doing things around here, which is like we do the bulk of everything right around the barn. And it's so gorgeous right there. I love it. Irina said, greetings from the UK, everyone. After seeing that tree in the Hartley and the raindrops on the rooftop, I'm definitely ready for Christmas now. What a beauty to die for. Sending tons of love to Laura and family, plus whoever is reading this. It does feel like a dream, but I do feel like, you know, part of me was bummed that we weren't going to have it set up, but I think part of it was like protecting me from having too much going on. I feel like with the cut flower shed and the Hartley being kind of like in process and not being able to get in there, and our greenhouse, we still have to work on the thermostat. We have to have somebody come in and work on that to get the heat going. I feel like it's protecting me from launching into too much too soon. And I feel like if we get things done just a little bit at a time, it's just so much more manageable to like incorporate that then into our life and, you know, start decorating those things. There's like little feathers. Where are these coming from? That's like a tiny little feather. Is there a bird in here? That's weird. I don't have anything on with little feathers. No jackets, nothing. Anyway, yeah, I feel like it's a good thing that not everything got finished, because I think I would be going crazy trying to get everything decked out for Christmas, and that's just too much. So it's a good thing. Asanda said, where can I find that Christmas tree? So it's the micro dot tree. There's only one tree at home. It's from Home Depot. I can't remember the actual name of it, but it has micro dot lights, and I think it's the only one they carry that has micro dot lights. I have both the 9-foot and the 7.5 foot, and I don't know. I loved them for the first couple of years, but the branches, I like how open they are in one sense, but I don't like how open they are in the daytime because you can see a lot of light through them. I don't love that. I actually ordered my very first tree from Balsam Hill this year, and now I'm like, oh no.
All your trees need to be Balsam Hill?
Oh my gosh, that tree. I've been eyeballing the Biltmore spruce from Balsam Hill for like the last whoever knows how many years. And I finally pulled the trigger this year. I ordered actually an 8-foot one. So it's smaller than what I had in the great room before. And I think it's actually a better size. And it's the most gorgeous tree. It has a very like full appearance, but it's not, and it's like a cone, like all Christmas trees, but it's got more architecture to it, like more of a downswept kind of thing. And the branches are a lot stronger. The lights are perfect. I don't know. I really am loving it. Xenia said, what is the difference between water pooling in a sleeve or a saucer? There is no difference. You should not leave water that has pooled in either a saucer or a sleeve. You'll want to dump it. It's just easier if you've got a saucer underneath your sleeved plant to dump that, because it's a lot more shallow and not as flexible as the sleeve is. Summer Moon Garden said, where did you get your red watering can? It's a Dram watering can. So I got it at my parents' garden center. Lisa said, isn't Arborvitae pronounced Arborvitae? See Webster's. Yes, it is. Do I care? Nope. That's how we pronounce it in our region, Arborvitae poinsettia. Beth said, where do you order your ornaments from? Love the tree and the Hartley. I ordered just a few from Amazon that I found. They're, what brand? Pazanski? Something. They're like beautiful royal ornaments. They're gorgeous. So I ordered a few of those. I get a lot of my ornaments from my parents' garden center, to be honest, and a lot of them come to me at Christmas time from my parents. My mom always puts a bunch of beautiful stuff in my stocking of ornaments that I can use for the next year. And then whenever they go and travel, which it's been a couple years since they've been traveling anywhere, but they always brought us home Christmas ornaments because they were always things that they were lightweight, that they could pack in their suitcases. And so it's just been a process. I mean, Aaron and I have been married for 15 years. This will be our 16th Christmas together. And so over the 16 years we've been married, I just gather some every single year that I really love. And this is the very first year, and maybe that's why I love the Balsam Hill tree so much, but it's the very first year that I love every single ornament that's on my great room tree. And a lot of us, when we very first start out, we buy like the sleeves of Christmas balls and things that are just not as expensive to fill up the tree. And I feel like gradually I've kind of gotten rid of those or moved them to different trees. And I've just put the beautiful, gorgeous ornaments on that one tree. So anyway, it's just been a long process. Next video was making small evergreen trees for an outdoor winter centerpiece. And that was a fun video. I mean, it was a fun outcome and something different than I had ever done before. I saw a thing at Joann's when I was there. A little piece of wood with a stake, and then they had some picks just like hot glued to it. It was very simple. Can't remember what the price they had on it, but I looked at that and thought I could do that. And I could do it with natural things, like real things, and it might turn out kind of cute. We'll create some kind of woodland tabletop thing. And so we went again to our neighbor's brush pile and foraged some branches and put something together. And I think it was easy and cute. Strong Cup of Tea said this is exactly the kind of festive project that would be scalable, larger or smaller, for a senior living center, homeless shelter, soup kitchen, children's hospital, or hospice care location. Repurposing foraged branches from outside or even reconstructing from old, broken artificial Christmas trees that would have ended up in a landfill. A great way to brighten the lives of neighbors, community members that need a little lift this season. Great ideas all the way around. Going Green Mom said, when you cut the evergreen branches, do they grow back or will they have gaps as they grow taller? So the greens I used in this project were princess pine, noble fir, and incense cedar. We cannot grow noble fir or incense cedar here in our area. So I ordered those from my parents' garden center, but the princess pine I also ordered because theirs is gorgeous. And I don't really have anything big enough to cut from. I could cut some Arborvitae. I could cut Leyland cypress. I've got juniper I could cut, and they would all be beautiful for a project like we worked on. And all of the plants grow back in. Typically, I'm not doing something so giant that I need to cut so much out of a tree or a shrub that it even makes a difference. Most of the time you can't even tell. And it will fill in. If you do make some cuts like here and there on your tree, usually they fill in and you don't even notice. Construction Landscape said, how long would you say the cut greenery stays green and full? I'm from Florida, however, visiting the north next week, and I would love to try this project and with some greenery I bring back. If it's hot where you were at, it probably will not last that long. Here in our area, it will last into January for sure. It's pretty, I don't know, it's been pretty mild. We've been getting into like the high 40s, low 50s during the day, which is so glorious. I love it. And we have like thick fog and thick frost every single morning. So it's getting pretty chilly every single night. And I think that it helps keep everything nice and preserved. You could definitely try it though. I mean, you're really not out that much effort. To be honest, they're pretty easy to put together. Malia said, would wilt stop make these trees last any longer? Yes, absolutely. And it's something that I should probably go spray on mine. I completely spaced it. Wilt stop helps out tremendously, especially like with the Arborvitae or cypress, those evergreens that are thinner and they just dry out a lot quicker. If you put wilt stop on, I've had them be like as fresh as can be in February still and looking great. So I just forgot. Connor said, do you have any tips for getting the sap off your hands? Never seems to come off. Mayo. I just use mayo out of the fridge. You just put a big old dollop in your hand. In fact, my hands were covered in sap earlier today. I worked with some pine. And you just rub it around and then use some hand soap just to wash it all off. And your hands are spick and span. And most everybody has mayo in their fridge, I think. Right? I've seen some people say hand sanitizer works really well. I don't think I've ever bought hand sanitizer in my life. rubbing alcohol. I don't know that I want to put like a bunch of, some people said nail polish remover. I wouldn't put that all over my skin probably. Mayo works really well. Goth Mama Freedom said, you removed the Japanese maple, but did you try it in the ground somewhere? I actually, we took it out of the pot and a friend took it home and they're going to try to recuperate it. Somebody who likes doing that sort of thing. In fact, she's the one who has the lemon trees that I had that scale so bad. And we were trying to get in the shuffle from this year. We were trying to get things moved into the studio. I did not want to introduce any kind of scale issues into this room. And so she took them and is recuperating them. She enjoys that. Jackie said, where do I go buy paddle wire, please? My parents' garden center sells it. I'm sure that like a box store would sell paddle wire, don't you think? Or like your florist, local florist, they'll have paddle wire.
Did you say like a Joann's type place?
Oh yeah, craft store.
Yeah.
Duh. That's probably the best place to go for. Check your local garden center first because, you know, yes, got to get that in there. And my parents do carry that. But yeah, craft stores will always have paddle wire. Zamurai said, hey Laura, what's your opinion on Milwaukee instead of DeWalt? I have no opinion.
You know, I had a Milwaukee drill for a long time. I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah, but you know what? It's just, you start down a path.
Yeah.
And it's like, I saw a video of somebody, he was like taking his son to the hardware store and he was like, now son, you're going to have to choose a brand. Because once you buy that brand, you'll never be able to buy anything else. Because the batteries are so expensive.
Yeah.
Once you've got like 2 batteries, it's so much cheaper just to buy the bare tool.
Right.
Of that same brand.
That is so true. Yeah. So we started in with DeWalt for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe there was a feature on
maybe somebody like bought us one, or it's possible that there was some connection with my previous work at the cable company. I wonder if I had a DeWalt drill for.
No, because you had Milwaukee for that.
Well, I had 3. I had like a Bosch drill, and I had a Milwaukee drill, and I had a DeWalt drill, I think. It was kind of like, because they would buy them in bulk, and I think it was just like however, like whatever they got a good deal on.
So there's no reason why you decided on DeWalt over any of the others. Well,
I mean, they make good tools. I got nothing against them.
Yeah. It is nice though, whenever like we get out a jigsaw or the miter saw or the reciprocating saw, the blower, the hedge trimmer, the weed eater, the weed eater. Mm-hmm. What else do we have? The fan. We have a fan.
Yeah.
Everything takes the same battery.
Which
so
we use
nice.
the fan a lot during the summertime.
Yeah.
To cool you down.
We'll be outside filming. It's like 105, and then we'll get the DeWalt fan out, and Aaron will just hold it, and I'll just be standing there with the.
But it's nice because you can take it places. You don't have to worry about finding a plug-in.
Right. Okay. That's it, Aaron. Is that it?
Sure.
Well, there's no more questions, but I feel like there was more videos. Hang on.
Well, there are, but we'll get them next time.
Okay.
I just grabbed questions from 7 videos, and we'll grab another 7 next week.
Mercy. Okay. Sounds good. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.